Good morning, grade threes. Right, we're going to do some revision quickly of our maths. Remember, these are castle sums. We do castle sums for plus and minus. So you have to be very, very careful when you are busy doing them to make sure you've put the correct sign, either a plus or a minus, so that you know what you're doing. These vertical sums or castle sums take the place of our peanut and our arrow sums. So if we did a peanut sum, we would now be doing a vertical addition or a vertical plus sum. And when we did an arrow sum, well, we now be doing a vertical subtraction or a minus sum. So remember, this is supposed to be an easier way, and you no longer, once you know this method, you will no longer have to do the peanut and the arrow sums. Right, so here is my castle. We're quickly going to go over the little story. And in the castle live Prince Units, Queen Tens, and King Hundreds. I've got them in a bigger picture just so that you can see them nice and clearly. Oh, Prince Units, Queen Tens, and King Hundreds. And they all live in this castle, and their job is to count the numbers. Now, sometimes they have to plus all the numbers together, and sometimes they have to subtract them. So let's do the first sum that I'm going to give you. The first sum is 127 plus 236. So the first thing I've got to do is set it out clearly. Remember, I can't go draw the castle and keep on drawing this picture because it will take too much time. So a quick way of doing it is to write the hundreds, a nice space, tens, and units. You can write hundreds, tens, and units on top of the numbers, like that. And then we've got to put them in the right place. 427 the 4 goes underneath the 100, the 2 underneath the 10, and the 7 under the unit. 236, place it in the right place. And please be neat, because when you write untidily, you get lost. It confuses you. Remember to put in the plus sign so that I know what I'm doing. Right, in our story, Prince Unit always has to count first. So he says, it's my turn to count. And I'm going to say 7 plus 6. Now 7 plus 6 is 13, and he already knows that 13 is made up of a unit and a 10, so he can't write 13 here. But he's happy to keep the 3 because it falls under the units. So he writes the 3 under the units, and he's going to give this 110 to his mom, Queen Tens. And we have to write it there. You have to take it and you have to write 1 plus, so she can add it with her numbers when she's busy adding. So Prince Unit is finished. He's done. Then Queen 10 says 3, 4, 5, 6, and she can write that in. And she says, I'm finished. And then King 100 says, I have 4 plus 2 is also 6. So the answer is 663. And when I'm finished, I write it up next to the equal sign so that my number sentence is complete and finished. Right. Now sometimes our numbers get very big, and you will see that the tens also get bigger than 9. So what happens if the unit has to give one to his mom and the tens also has to give one to the hundreds? Let's have a look at a sum like that. It's still a plus sum. Let's quickly have a look. Right, so I'm going to write it for you. Please do these sums as well again. So we've got 527 plus 184. So we always have to write hundreds, tens, and units. Look at my spacing, please. I want you to space yours neatly. You can write hundreds, tens, and units at the top. And let's put them in the right places, each number in the right place. And the most important thing is that plus sign on the side. So that's our setup. We've laid it out correctly. And now we start by saying we always have to start counting with Prince Unit. He's always first. And he says, I have 7 plus 4. 7 plus 4 is 11. He knows it's made up out of a 10 and a unit. He can't write 11 in here because it's 2 numbers. He's happy to keep the one that's under the unit and he writes it in. And then he gives this other 10 to his mom, the Queen. And we have to take the 1 and write 1 plus. So our unit is finished. He's done his job. Now it's the Queen's job to count, Queen tens. And she says, I have 8, 9, 10, plus 1 is 11. Now she's got a double number. But she's the 10 and standing next to her is the 100. So she's happy to keep the 1. But she has to pass over the other 1 to King Hundreds. And you have to write 1 plus next to him as well because she's giving this one over to him. We finished with the unit and now we're on the tens. 5, 6, 7. When he adds up all his numbers, he gets 7. And the answer is 711. If you check this with a peanut sum, you will see that you are correct. Right, so follow the rule and follow the little story. But now we've also got a minus or subtraction. And it looks almost the same. It's the same layout. So let's do one. 563 take away 247. So I write hundreds, tens, and units just like I've been doing. There's no difference. I can write hundreds, tens, and units at the top. Everything looks the same as I've just been doing with a plus. I write it in the right places and 247. But now, where I would have written a plus, it's a minus. And I must make sure I write it nice and clearly so that I can see it. This part of the story stays the same. I always start at Prince Unit. And Prince Unit says 3 take away 7. He always counts from the top down. He can't go bottom up. So he says 3 take away 7. Here's 1, 2, 3. Can I take away 7? No, I can't. I've only got 3. I can't take 7 from there. So I have to ask for help. And just like you would ask your mom for help, Prince Unit asks the Queen, his mom, for help. So he says, Mom, I need some help. Can you give me 110 of yours? She says, yes, I've got 6. If I give you 1, 6 take away 1 is 5. I'm left with 5. And my other 1 goes over here. And it's 10 plus 3, which is 13. So I can just write the 1 next to it, 13. Now Prince Unit says, I can do my job. I can count. 13 take away 7. And 13 take away 7 is 6. And he can write that in. And he's finished. Now Queen Unit says, 5 take away 4 is 1. And Prince Hundred says, now it's my turn. 5 take away 2 is 3. And we go and write it at the top of our number sentence. That's our number sentence. And we write in 316. Right. Guys, you need to do a lot of practicing. The big part of this is if you set it out correctly. If you set everything out correctly and you remember the minus. Remember that the plus and the minus look very similar, so you don't want to confuse yourself. Don't leave it out. It tells you what to do. When you are doing the plus sum, you're giving something to the Queen. And when you are busy doing the minus sum, you're asking for help. So you're taking something from her. You're taking the 10 and she's left with less. So try and remember the story because the story helps you with the steps and what should come next. Right, good luck. And if any of you need any help, Mrs. Bagara and I are always here and we are willing to help you with this so that you get this right. So practice, practice, practice. And if you get stuck anywhere, even if you just send a WhatsApp or you want your own little lesson, it's not a problem. Mrs. Bagara and I want you to get this right and we want you to be confident when you're doing these sums. So let us know. Good luck, guys. Chat soon.